Today, we'll talk about what is DevOps and what we're going to cover in this course. I hope everybody here are for the DevOps, Decoding DevOps course. The course I named it as Decoding DevOps because there's so many things in DevOps now which is really confusing things. Hey, can you please mute yourself? All right, so I'm going to give you time to ask questions and all. But by the time, stay muted, please, because the background noise will really disturb. I named the course as Decoding DevOps because DevOps is now getting more and more complex and complicated. Yes, people are very happy and excited to get into DevOps, right? But then there are many technologies. There's Ansible, there's Kubernetes, there's Git, there's Jenkins. So which tool to learn, which technology to learn, and trust me, every now and then in DevOps comes new technology. Okay, for the automation, for the collaboration, for communication, for integration, different technology comes in, right? So this course is going to be all about understanding, learning those technologies, and also integrating them together. My job won't be just to train you on the tools, but to show you how things work together, integrated tools, technologies, and teams, how they work together. My name is Imran, full name Imran Teli. You can check my profile on LinkedIn if you want to connect me over there. I have more than 11 years of experience in the IT industry. Started my journey as a systems engineer, scripting, cloud computing, DevOps, and it's been quite a long time, 2013-14. From that time, I am doing DevOps, like lots of automation and cloud computing. So I am certified in various areas. I'm a Red Hat certified architect, certified in Ansible, OpenStack, Gluster, OpenShift, Kubernetes, Puppet, and in AWS, I'm certified in SysOps, DevOps, and also security professional. In my distance past, I have done other certifications like VCP, RHC, Python from EDX, and also DevOps Foundation. So quite a long list. There are a few more which I don't want to include. But if you have any questions about certification, you can ask me at the end of the session. I'll surely be able to explain you about the certifications. I have knowledge in DevOps, cloud computing, collaboration, and scripting. And I wish that will be, and I hope you will have these skills by the time you complete the course. So it's really about my passion towards training and sharing what I learn, what I implement. I would like to share that. I have courses also, more courses on Udemy and few other platforms where I'm training people on more advanced concepts on DevOps as well, DevOps projects implementation. So let's talk about why you should learn DevOps. Three good points that I tell every time people to convince and just to make your mind, just to be sure, right? I mean, whenever you get into a new career or you're trying to, shift or transition or start your career, you may have some questions in your mind. Am I doing it right or wrong? Sorry, what is that? Hey, can you please mute yourself for now? Right, sorry. So I want you to be sure the decision that you're taking is right or not. Okay. Yes, and there will be some questions that may come, and people may think DevOps something else. So I will also tell you you should join or you should not join. Okay. So these are some good reasons. DevOps is one of the top skills the employers are looking, but really, how long is it going to be on to the top skill? Okay, in my own experience, it's been a top skill from quite a long time, and it is going to be there. Let's look at some research. Okay, now I talk based on facts, right? Just some of the facts we're going to go through. So this is one survey from Industry Arc, which says the DevOps market forecast is to reach $12.5 billion by 2025. It's 2021, right? And it's going to grow further, and this number always have seen increasing. The forecast again keeps increasing. Okay, a compound annual growth rate of 25.2%. That's huge. Okay, now if you're still not convinced that it's going to grow or not, whether I've chosen the right career or not, some survey from Atlassian, like that there are many surveys, there are big names in the DevOps also an IT industry who conducts surveys. Like there's Puppet, there's Atlassian. Atlassian is a big name in DevOps. Terraform, Vagrant, Jira, amazing tools are there from Atlassian. So this is the Atlassian surveys last year, because this year is not yet completed. So one thing I am pointing out to everyone, that DevOps is now a corporate term. Okay, very well recognized term. It was not there. Now DevOps has been there for more than 10 years. Yes. Okay, but it for a long time it was just, probably a system admin who knows DevOps skill, or a developer who knows DevOps skills, or a build and release engineer knows DevOps skill. But the actual corporate term, a designation, okay, was not there on paper. So but now DevOps is a corporate term, and over 90% said DevOps has a direct impact on their business metrics. So if you get into DevOps, you will be impacting the business of the company, good or bad. Okay, both ways, it goes both ways. But this is the problem which you are going to solve. 85% of the respondents have faced barrier in implementing DevOps. 85% is a big number, right? Why they are facing that many problems in implementing DevOps? And if you're thinking there are many DevOps engineers out there, there are not many. One thing, even if they are, trust me, they're not good. Okay, most of them. It's because of the lack of skills. That's one thing. Legacy infrastructure. So lack of skills means you have to get trained yourself on the DevOps tools. Legacy infrastructure means, physical infrastructure. We have to move to cloud computing to containers. Okay, so to ditch the legacy infrastructure. So it is easy to implement DevOps. And also about the culture, corporate culture. And this will be one problem that you have to deal with the management. Okay, but if the management is headstrong to implement DevOps, then you won't have this problem. Let's look at some other numbers. 99% of the respondents says DevOps has a positive impact in their organization. Yeah, and previously people were like not sure whether is it really helpful or not helpful. Okay, and I'm going to talk about why all these good numbers we have. See, 78% had to learn new skills. So existing people who wants to be in DevOps or already in DevOps, right? They need to learn new skills. And there are many more numbers. I'll give you the link from where you can download this report and read it yourself. If you're a guy like me who trusts on numbers rather than trusting the trend, what people are saying, then you will be interested in reading this and making the right decision. Okay, so let's go back to our slide. So that was one point. Okay, it's also one of the highly paid jobs. Why? I'll tell you in the next slides. Hey guys, please mute yourself. This background noise coming. I'll give you time to ask questions. Okay, we'll have quite a long discussion, trust me. So one of the highly paid job, you can check it on Indeed, Glassdoor. You can post a question on Quora. You can check PayScale. Yes, it is highly paid job, and the reason is this. The reason, the third point. See, I'll explain you what is DevOps in few minutes. But before that, understand this. And you must have heard this so many times, right? If you're researching on the DevOps, you must have heard this so many times, right? Let's make this solid ground here. From a long time, IT industry was divided into two zones, you can say. Okay, Shridath, please mute yourself. You're unmuting again and again. It's causing background noise. Okay, please. Thank you very much. Okay, so IT industry was divided into two categories, or two zones, or two domains, you can say. Development and operations. The development part, we have developers, we have testers, we have build and release engineers. Anybody who is involved in creating and testing software is considered as development part. The other part was operations. System admins, most famously known as, right? System admin, network admins, database admins, right? There's many admins there, okay? So operations team is involved in delivering the software. Development part is involved in creating the software. Now think about, you want to develop a product, not software, think of anything. Okay, maybe some food product, okay, anything, a clothing brand, anything. So you are very good and amazing in creating the product, but if you have problem in delivering the product, then you will not make money. Okay, there's no business then, or low business. Similarly, for softwares, the developers have become very fast and the product are getting new features every now and then, but the operations team was slow from a long time. Why? There is also very good reason for that. It's not that they don't know how to do it. uh, they have their own reasons. So there is a huge gap between development and operations, and because of that the delivery is slow, and DevOps will fix that problem. So as fast as you are developing the software, the same pace you can deliver the software at the same speed, which is awesome, right? And then more delivery, more money, more business. So people who can fix this delivery problem, this logistics problem, will of course get highly paid, right? I think you agree with that, right? So these are some three good reasons, guys, why you should be learning DevOps, and you must have your own reasons as well. That is also good. Okay. So point is, anybody in the IT industry who's involved in creating or delivering the software, right, will need DevOps. So everybody in the IT industry, wherever there is code, guys, it's a web application, it's a data science, machine learning, artificial intelligence, wherever there is code, you need to cache from that code to cache. And to do that efficiently, you need DevOps. That means everybody needs DevOps. That's my point. Okay, so DevOps is not going anywhere. Right, so why me? Right, there are many courses in the market. Well, yes, few points I want to talk about. That I have trained thousands of people in DevOps. I have thousands of active students, not just trained and done, the active students I have. I focus on the real-time implementation. Okay, I have course on Udemy as well, for DevOps projects course, where I'm taking this to whole new level, real-time implementation. So in this course also, whatever you learn, you're going to be learning based on a use case, right? One batch I completed, one of the student gave me a feedback about that. I mean, I get this feedback a lot, but this is recent feedback that the guy already was trained on AWS. Okay, AWS trained person, and I also train people on AWS in this course. So he said, I learned AWS fine, but how to really use it, I learned it in this course. So that's some feedback. I told him to post that on the Udemy as well, that feedback. Let's see. So that's my point. You're going to learn a tool, a technology, a concept. I'm going to take a use case and then train you on that. Okay, I'll teach you how to excel in software delivery. Okay, I'll show you how different methodologies are used by different big tech companies to deliver softwares. And most importantly, I'll show you how technologies work together. Okay, another feedback or good feedback that I have from my students is they learn from me how to integrate technologies, any technologies tools. There are many tools, right? Which one to learn? Maybe you need to learn all of them, but then what do you do with that, right? You should know how to integrate them. Okay, this is connecting the pieces of puzzle, important thing, right? And I have really have put a lot of efforts in creating the practical scenarios, projects, exercises, documentation. And I have a book also, Decoding DevOps book, that you will get. So you're going to follow that. And assignments, many things you have on your plate, so you don't need to worry about running post to pillars for documents and stuff. And I'm really passionate about training. I hope that sounds, that you hear that from in my voice. All right, and I'm here for you guys. All right, the most important thing that people feel when they come here, you have any doubt, any question while I'm explaining anything in the class, you can anytime stop me and ask me, and I'll be surely happy to assist you. We'll have a Google Classroom later where you're going to practice and post your errors and problems, and I'll be able to help you, okay, from there and in the class as well. Right, so now let's understand what exactly is DevOps. I have created an animated video. It's on YouTube. I'll send you the link also. So based on that video, I'm going to have taken some slides from there and will explain you what really is DevOps, okay, with a story. Okay, I don't want to really bore you with death by PowerPoint. And yeah, there are so many slides. It's a demo session, okay, so there's slides, but the course is not going to be like this, right? So yes, DevOps has many explanations. Code to cache, the word I like the most. But some people feel that doing scripting is done, you're doing DevOps. Some people say if you're using cloud computing, you're doing DevOps. Or new term, people say I'm using containers, so I'm doing DevOps. Or we have implemented DevOps culture, right? Some says we have implemented these DevOps tools, right? But really, this is not the whole picture. It's like there is a story, right? Blind people or people who cannot see, maybe their eyes are tied, were introduced an elephant. Okay, and these blind people needs to explain how the elephant is, so they can't see, so they will just touch and feel different parts of elephant. Some people touch the leg and feel that, and they'll say that elephant is like a pillar. Some people will get the trunk, so they'll say elephant is like a pipe. Some people will hold the tail and they'll say elephant is like a brush. Right, so these explanations are like that. Okay, because mostly people are blind, sorry, not blind, but blind-sided because of their perception, their experience that they have. So I'm gonna unblind you if that is a word, and we'll see the bigger picture, what really DevOps is. Okay, so we need to understand software lifecycle before understanding DevOps. So let me set the stage with a story. So wait, so anything starts with an idea. All right, so let's say you have an idea, or we will say Emma. Okay, the character name we're going to give. Emma has an idea to create a mobile app for her business. She is an artistic person, and she creates artworks which she sells to the public in the local market. Okay, she has a shop, right, to say a gallery or exhibition kind of. She's quite popular in the local market. She gets very good feedback about the products that she creates. She wants to expand the business, okay, nationally or probably internationally also, right? So she decides why not have a mobile app from where people can go through the product, the videos, the pictures, the gallery, and if they like the product, they can order it from there, like a typical e-commerce site, but for Emma. And so that is the idea. So having a mobile app, that's going to be her business then, okay, or at least the front end of the business, right? But Emma is an artistic person. She doesn't have a clue about the technical concepts. She doesn't have a team of developers or testers or system admins, right? You need these many people, different job roles to create, test, and deliver the product. So what she does is she approaches a software consulting firm who are expertise in creating the software. They listen to the idea of Emma, and yeah, they listens to the idea of Emma, and they decides to write the product or create and deliver the product for the Emma, the mobile app, right? Let's understand some concepts. So this will actually kickstart something called a software development process, right, which is a well-defined and very organized process, and we'll see about that. If you are from a CS background, you know what I'm saying. Okay, but if you're not from a CS background, now listen carefully. Software development process, or it's also called as life cycle. So in this, the first step is requirement gathering. So Emma is giving the requirement, so business analyst, people who are intelligent enough or specific to that job role, will gather the requirement from Emma, as much as requirement they can, right? What will the user requirement, what will be the product features, what will be the requirement to run the product or develop the product. So they'll create the list of requirement, okay, and they'll have some proper tools and stuff where they'll record all this information. Next step is planning. In the second phase, the planning will be conducted based on the requirement, right? How much cost will be incurred, okay, what are the resources we'll need, and what are the risks associated with it, and few other things will be calculated. And then the product will be designed. Architects, right, the people who are the architects of the software, I'm saying here, like you have house architect, right, who designs the create the design. Like that, here the architects, software architects, are going to design the product. They're not going to create, they're going to design. Okay, they'll create design documents, architectural designs, which will be passed down to the developers in the next phase. Developers, based on these architectural designs and documents and requirement, they will start writing the code, and this is where actually the product starts getting developed. Okay, so thousands and thousands of lines of code to write the product. After that, the testers will be involved. They will test the product before it goes to the actual user for the production. Production, when I use the word production, means where the actual users will be using it. For example, if you access Instagram from mobile app or from your computer, you're accessing the production environment of Instagram. But before it comes to the production, there are pre-production environment, guys. Testing environment, staging environment, development environment, where the product is getting created, tested, then created, then tested, then ditched. So many things happens. There's an endless cycle there. Right? So in pre-production environment, the product will be tested by software testers, or you also call them as QA team, quality assurance. So before it goes to the production, the defects will be checked. It will be checked for the defects. And then comes the deployment. Then operations team will be involved. Okay, they will set up the right servers or cloud computing or containers, and they'll deploy the product over there. They'll set the proper URLs and stuff, everything. Operations team will be involved here, right? And then it will be regularly maintained. Maintenance is changes and uptime together. Okay, there'll be regular changes. People need new requirements from the product. So developer will create new requirements, deliver it, and also at the same time, it needs to be always up and running. So maintenance is that. Maintenance of the product, right? So let's see this process again in a cyclic view. First, we have requirement gathering. Then we have planning, right? Then we have designing. Architects are going to design the product. Developers are going to develop the product. Testers are going to test the products for defects. And operations team is going to deploy the product and maintain it. And it is a cyclic view because it's a continuous process, right? New requirements comes in. So you need to again develop and deploy. This goes on and on. Right? This process is called as SDLC, Software Development Life Cycle. Wait, my voice is not coming? Are you able to hear me?
Yeah, good enough.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Now someone said not getting the sound. Okay, anyways. So this is called as, guys, software development lifecycle. If you're from the CS background, you know what this is, right? If you're not from CS background, this is the story, by the way. So this is the process of creating and delivering the software. In SDLC, software development lifecycle, there are different models. You have waterfall, agile, spiral, big bang, and few other, right? Mostly you'll hear this word waterfall and agile, and we're going to do a comparison between them. But what really are these different models in SDLC? Think of them as different roadways to reach the same destination. And if you're traveling somewhere and there are multiple ways or routes to reach your destination, which one will you choose? It's based on many factors: cost, time, risk. So based on different factors, you'll decide, okay, this route is good for me and I'll go from this route. Okay, like that, based on the requirement from the client, customer, from the user, a right SDLC model will be chosen. So I'm going to do a comparison between waterfall and agile because that actually gave birth to DevOps movement. Waterfall model. Okay, it's a legacy model, we call it, because it is old, been there from a long time, and very less people uses it. But you need to understand that so you can understand agile. Waterfall model works like this. It works in phases. First phase is requirement. When requirement is full, completed, then it goes to the next level, design. Okay, when the product is completely designed, okay, then it moves to the next phase, implementation, the development, where the developers will create the software. When they create the whole software or a module of like everything of that module, then when that is completed, then it goes to the testing phase. In testing phase, everything is tested, whatever is being developed, right? And when the testing is completed, it goes to the maintenance. Now, if you observe, I've stressed on the word completely and everything, right? Because that's how waterfall model is. To move to the next phase, you have to complete that phase. Okay, that's why it's called as waterfall, right? This is full, then it goes to the next level. And this is full, it goes to the next level. And water cannot go back, right? And that's the problem. To create a product with waterfall model, it may take months of time. Okay, and maybe you don't have that much time. You have an idea and you want to deliver that idea ASAP in the market before someone catches up to you, and it's let's say going to take 6 to 8 months to develop the product. So develop and deliver the product. So that idea may get old, someone else may catch it, right? But there's no way. You have to complete the phases in waterfall. So that's one problem. We cannot accommodate any other changes, right? If the water is flowing down, it's not going to come back up. Okay, if your new requirement, then you can't add it here anywhere. There's no place to inject new requirement, right? And moreover, it doesn't scale well. There are many cons. There are also pros of waterfall, but we are not here to discuss them, right? I'm here to just talk about the cons of waterfall model. Okay. So overall, it doesn't scale well in today's time. Okay, today is the time of quick and fast, right? So coming back to our story, Emma meeting with the project head. Okay, and she says that I am not sure about all the requirement at once. Okay, I'm not sure, I'm doing this first time, right? I would like to observe your development, how you're developing and creating the software, and based on your input, what I get from the product, I'm going to give new feedback. So there is a feedback loop here. Okay, and that feedback may need to change the product in the middle or change its features in the middle. Okay, so waterfall definitely is a no-go, right? So the project head decides to not develop everything at once but break down into smaller iterations. Okay, and the iteration will be basically time frame. In that time frame, they're going to develop some amount of features, not whole, right? Let's say 4 features they're going to develop in first 2 weeks. So an iteration, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, or 4 weeks. It could be 2 to 4 weeks. And once this is completed, they're going to demonstrate it to Emma. Okay, Manohar, yeah, muted you. Hey, mute yourself. Yeah, sorry. So I was saying, so iteration is completed. Emma gets the demonstration, and she may add or remove some features, may give feedback, and that can be included in the next iteration or changed in the next iteration. So the best part of this, there is a feedback loop. Okay, and this is actually called as agile SDLC. Right? So you see that cyclic, but it's not for the entire product. It's some part of the product. List of features we call it. Okay, user stories they're called. Okay, now there are different framework in agile, Scrum, Kanban. Scrum is pretty famous. Basically, set of rules how the product needs to be developed. Okay, like that. Protocols you can say for that. So over here you get the feedback loop, and you don't need to complete the all the iterations to deliver the product. If the product is good enough to deliver in 2 or 3 iterations, it can be delivered. Actual users can use it and you get more feedback, so you don't need to wait for months to complete the product. The product is getting tested and deployed in every iteration. Okay, so new features are keep getting added. It's incremental, right? So Emma gives feedback after an iteration, and then yes, that can be included in the next iteration, right? So in here, water does go back. Really, it doesn't go back, it gets injected in the middle. All right. So while this is happening, guys, okay, let's understand some few more processes. There is a process called as build and deploy. Okay, when the developers are creating the software from the code, they're going to create the product. That is called as build. Build basically means from code to product, code to software, right? And while they're writing the code, they may build it multiple times and test it in their local environment, and they'll say out of this build is good to go, and they'll promote that build to a staging environment. Staging environment is pre-production environment where testing can be conducted. Okay, so in staging environment, the product will be tested for any defects or anything. If everything is good, then it is promoted for the production environment from where the actual users will use it. So this is a build and deploy in a short. Okay, in short. Okay, there's many details into that, but we'll get into that later. While this build and deploy is happening, there's so many testing and stuff happens, right? So many times the test cases fail. Many times the testers are not even able to access the environment. Okay, or the infrastructure itself is down. Okay, so what goes on if something like this fails? in the release management. This is called as release management. Okay, something fails in the release management. Operations team is in charge of managing the infrastructure and doing the deployments to pre-prod environment also. Something fails, the development team head is going to reach to the operations head and tell that, hey, you deployed our code to the environment, it's not working, it's a failed deployment. Why is that? And somehow they'll get to work. Okay, somehow they'll fix the problem and they'll continue, right? But this will cause delays. And even though somehow they promotes it to the production, they somehow made it working in the dev environment, test environment, then in production things start failing. Okay, I mean, it worked in testing environment but still it fails in production environment. Many times it happens. Why does that happen? Okay, there are many reasons for that. Okay, we're going to discuss some important reasons about that. Okay, so operations team is going to deploy the product with the possibility that if it's working in dev test environment, staging environment, it's going to work in production environment. Okay, but really the production and QA environments are very different. As in the data, for example, database may not be synced together. Production environment has more security, more firewall, different network design. Okay, QA test environment will have basically few servers. Okay, no security, no safety, and maybe versions are different. Developer, they're facing some problem, they'll install the new version of the software and they'll test the product there, and they did not pass this information to the production environment. So the production team doesn't have the idea that they need to upgrade some OS or patches, right? So basically both the environments are not synced properly. Because of that, if it's working in dev and test, there's not a guarantee it's going to work in production because it's quite different now. Okay, that's one reason. The other reasons are the new development tools and the new processes like Agile, Scrum and stuff are making the development very fast, but the operations team is not able to cope up with these frequent changes. Okay, today is a fast moving world. Okay, new feature gets developed every now and then, right? But the operations team is not able to cope up with that, and why they are not able to cope up, we'll come to that in a moment. Production server needs some changes, as I said. Okay, maybe the database needs to be tweaked, some OS level, some security level, some firewall level changes needs to be done, which is not informed to the ops team. So things fails. Most importantly, guys, there are no clear instructions to the ops team of the deployment. Okay, this is the biggest problem, is actually communication. If they're not communicated well, then they're going to make mistakes and things will fail. Right? So there are some reasons why deployment fails in production environment or even in dev and test environment. Right? We have to remember this. Because of agile and new style of developing softwares, there will be regular code changes. Developer is going to keep coding and creating new features, and there will be regular deployments and they'll be regularly tested. It's going to be continuous cycle on and on and on and on and on. Right? It goes on and on. Right? I'm talking about pre-prod here, not even prod. But because of this too many deployment requests and testing, the ops team is not able to handle. Okay, now I've been talking about ops team is not able to handle, right? But why they are not able to handle? Okay, I mean, yes, people can pump in more system admins, right? How about that? You have like 10 system admins, put 10 more, right? Increase the ops team, right? But that's not going to fix the problem. The reason is the ops teams, first of all, they don't have clear instructions. They're already occupied with the production environment, production support. They need to make sure there is a system uptime. The main job of the ops team is to make sure the system is always up and running 24/7, and they are ITIL process driven. Like developers are agile driven, these people are ITIL driven. ITIL is like, if you don't know ITIL, think of them like a government organization. They need to have many sign-offs and signatures and documentation and stuff, which actually makes difficult, takes longer time for any changes. I remember a time where that is still there in so many companies. If you want to make any production change, you need to wait for 5 days. Yes, 5 days. That was change management process. What do you do in 5 days? It's not that much work. Actually, it's all basically paperwork. Okay, that's how ITIL is. Okay, they just make sure this process makes sure things don't break, right? But because of that, things become slower, right? Stability and agility are just poles apart, guys, right? Now let's come back to the story again. Because of this, the failures and all, the customer was promised that they will be seeing a demo, but Emma doesn't see any demo because things are not working, it's failed. So she feels bad. Of course the customer will feel bad. The project head has passed the deadline. Okay, it's not able to deliver on time because of these failures. So this starts the development versus operations instead of DevOps. Before DevOps, there was always development versus operations. Okay, there was this fight. Why is that? Again, agile developers are agile. Okay, quick. They're agile driven. Operations is ITL. Okay, stability. So poles apart, really, right? And ops developers job, I hate to say this, but this is how the developer mindset is. I have written the code, my work is done. They just throw the code to the ops team to deploy without proper instruction, proper communication, right? Now I've worked in both the environments. I know the pain point. I've been telling about ops team that they are not delivering, but it's actually also problem with the development side. They just deliver the pro, they just write the code, and their code they've done, they tested local environment in their computer and their laptop, and they, yeah, my work is done, it's deployed, right? And that's not the way actually, and we'll come to that. So this is called as tossing the code over the wall. It's a very famous saying in DevOps, or before DevOps, tossing the code over the wall. And there's a big wall of confusion. That wall is because both the parties doesn't understand each other. Developer will say, hey, ops team, they are not delivering my product regularly, right? And ops team will say, hey, these developers, they just toss their code. These parties don't see each other. Okay, they are working in their own silos, right? So this is always the fight, Tom and Jerry, right? Deployments taking too long, you're not giving clear instruction. This is always a fight, right? Now in between all this, the customer is suffering. This time Emma brought some friends, or maybe existing user to use the app, and the app failed to deliver. Okay, it's throwing errors, problems, which is very, very embarrassing for Emma. Okay, now the owner of everything, the company, okay, understands that unhappy customer means the business loss. Okay, let's give this guy a name. Let's pick up a name from from chat. We'll take Jitendra. So let's say Jitendra, okay, the owner of this company, Swoosh software consulting firm, understand that the customer is not happy, and unhappy customer means business loss. But Jitendra, remember, he attended once an agile conference. Now this is actual story, okay? The character changed. Jitendra attended an agile conference. In agile conference, there was a talk show where a person called as Patrick DeBois, that's a true name, explained that what is DevOps. He explained that developers are agile, they are fast, but the operation is still slow. It's still waterfall. Okay, so it doesn't matter how fast your development becomes, if your ops is not collaborating, then you don't make business as much you're thinking. Okay, so the fix is DevOps. We'll come to what is DevOps again, right? But he explained the concept of DevOps in 2009 or 10 somewhere. And the Flickr was the first company, guys, who implemented DevOps. And they all actually in this in the some summit or seminar, they also explained how they're doing 10 plus deployments per day. 10 deployment means 10 production changes per day, per day. And I told you that it was the time when one change used to take 5 days of time frame, and in that time they are doing 10 deployments per day. I'm talking about a decade back, okay, 2010, that time. Okay, yes, DevOps is that old. Okay, uh, yeah, so that was the history. Okay, it's the actual history of DevOps, right? Flickr is the first company. Now everyone was surprised because of that, right? So Jitendra was also in that agile conference, so he decides to, why not rope in a DevOps consultant and who can fix this problem for us, because this is a delivery problem. Okay, it's a delivery problem, logistics problem. So he fetches in, let's pick up some other name, what is that, Gagan. Okay, so let's say he brings in Gagan. Okay, Gagan is the DevOps consultant, right? And Gagan really promises that he's going to skyrocket the business, deliver the product quickly, efficiently at an enormous pace, blah blah blah, right? And he comes in, but Gagan also explains is I don't have a magic wand. I cannot magically fix your problem, guys. Right? You people need to understand some concepts. The culture change needs to start. Okay, so he brings in the software product project head, operations head, and also the CEO or MD, whatever, of the company. And he explains that there needs to be a culture shift. Okay, there needs to be communication, collaboration, and integration. Okay, yeah, I know. When I heard these words first time, I was like, yeah, whatever. Just show me the tools that I need to use, right? So, but these things are extremely important. If there is no culture change, there is no DevOps. Trust me, I have tried it. It doesn't work. Okay, so I'll explain these points in next slides. So people needs to communicate together, collaboratively work together, and integrate everything. Okay, how that works. So Gagan, right? Yeah, Gagan. So Gagan goes to the development team and explains the concepts of stability, right? What does stability means? What is ITIL, blah, 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 and everything. Okay, so he basically makes them aware about the other side of the wall, okay, how the things work. And he explains the operations team about agility, right? Yes, you're ITIL, blah, blah, but it's not going to work out, okay? It's the time where you need to do things faster, okay, much better, much more efficiently, right? So he makes them understand the other side of the wall, right? So the truth needs to be established, and the most important thing, each and everything needs to be automated. Everything needs to be automated, right? That's our, what you can say, uh, mantra, right? Automate everything, right? So whatever you're doing manually, each and every team, I remember this in 2012 or 13, in the beginning of 2013, when I was working in a company, there was like everyone was like, we are having, seminars and trainings and all that. Automate everything. What are you doing? Every team, everyone was forced to do automation, whatever they're doing manually. Okay, we've been trained on different skills of automation, Puppet, Python, this, that, and I was very happy because I was already always interested in programming and automation. I was doing bash scripting that time. I did some Perl, and I was doing Python that time. But then Puppet and all, SaltStack, okay, new tools they started, and then they started integrating us with different teams, right? I did not know I was doing DevOps that time, but then later I went to other companies, and then I realized that this is called as DevOps, because there was no such word itself as DevOps. I mean, there was, but it was not so popular, right? And the next company, I got a title itself as DevOps, and after that next company and few freelancing and all, I was a DevOps consultant. I used to love this work. I see a project where things people are doing manually, I used to encourage people to automate, and I used to automate a lot of things and integrate everything together. So basically, automation. Okay, but it doesn't happen without communication. So there are many things happens in the release management, guys. The developers are going to write the code, and they're going to build the code. There's code testing, software testing, infrastructure changes, deployments, anything and everything should be automated. Everything needs to be automated, and uh, DevOps is not the only person who is going to work into the automation. Okay, like for example, the software testers, they need to have automation test scripts. Okay, your security professionals, they need to write the automation scripts to do automatic scanning of the code and stuff. So DevOps, yes, job is to do a lot of automation, but cannot automate each and everything. Okay, uh, but one job that DevOps has for sure is about integration, guys. Everyone automating everything, DevOps is also automating many things. Finally, things needs to be integrated together. We'll talk about that. But yeah, so all the team needs to work together, not in their own silos, and need to automate everything. Okay, so development ops team decides to break the wall and decides to work together. The ops team understands developer understands ops team, and everything gets automated, and they form a team of avengers. No, just kidding. Their team of build and release, developers, testers, system admin, DB admin, security, anybody, everybody works together and automate each and everything. And trust me, when you are going to automate everything, you will need to collaboratively work together. Like if you need to automate something developer side, then you need to understand how developers are doing it manually first of all, so you can automate and integrate it. And so all these people work together like avengers, so they can avenge the delivery. Just kidding. All right, back to the story. So everyone in the team then decides to automate, and once the automation is started, also the integration started. All the automation scripts or frameworks will be integrated together, uh, and they will create something called as DevOps Lifecycle. Okay, there was SDLC, right? Software Development Lifecycle. We had waterfall, we had agile. Now this is DevOps Lifecycle, right? DevOps Lifecycle cannot be done by one individual. It needs to be done together. Everyone needs to work for it. Okay, then only you can have a DevOps Lifecycle. Basically automate everything and integrate everything. That's DevOps Lifecycle. So developer writes the code, and this code will be checked into, will be stored into some repository. From there the code needs to be fetched automatically and needs to be built automatically. And this, whatever I'm showing you, all the steps are has to be done automatically. The code build is going to be done automatically, then code test is going to be done automatically, unit test, integration test. Then there will be code analysis, vulnerability, security related test will be done on the code. That also needs to be done automatically. Then after that, this code needs to be delivered, or the software needs to be delivered to the servers, pre-prod. Okay, not till production here, just pre-prod environment. And there any database changes, any security related change, any network related change also needs to be done automatically again. And then the software testing script suite will start automatically, run the test cases of the software, functionality test, everything, load test. If everything is good, it can be deployed to the production environment. Okay, if production environment is deployed, then you can start diverting the actual user traffic to the production environment. If everything is good, users are not having any problem, it's good. If the users are having problem, there should be automatic rollback also. Okay, and also the monitoring team needs to continuously monitor everything, okay, throughout the deployment and after the deployment also, if something goes wrong, right? This is called as DevOps life cycle. Take a look. I'm going to mute myself for a moment. You take a look at this. All right, let's see one more diagram. You must have seen this right, like millions of time, right? If you Google DevOps, you'll see this diagram. What this really is this infinite loop, right? Infinity. So DevOps lifecycle, I've shown you just one cycle, right? But it goes on and on. Why? Because there'll be continuous code changes. As long as people are using the product, okay, there needs to be changes. And then these changes needs to be built, tested, deployed, and the same life cycle goes on and on and on and on and on. That's why this diagram. Okay, this is again DevOps lifecycle, but I have thrown some tools over here so to make you understand how what tools are used at what places. So developer writes the code, they push the code into a version control system like Git. You must have heard about Git. Even if you did not heard, it's fine. uh, if you don't know this tool, that's fine, guys. Okay, but if you know, this is for people who know these tools, so you'll understand where does these tools fit in the life cycle. So the code is there. Now the code needs to be fetched, tested, and software needs to be built from that. So there will be automation tool like Jenkins that can do that, fetch the code, build the code, test the code. And to do that, Jenkins will integrate with other tools like build tool like Maven for Java and for Docker images. And the software needs to be stored somewhere after it is built and tested. So tool like Nexus, Sonatype repository will store the softwares. And if there is any infrastructure related change, cloud computing related change, that will be done automatically at this level. And then the product will be deployed to the environment. When I say environment, think of them as bunch of servers, maybe for now. Okay, so servers, on the servers, things needs to be changed automatically, and software needs to be deployed, and you can use their automation tool like Ansible, Puppet, Chef, Python script, Bash script, PowerShell script. There are many tools. The environment could be a Kubernetes environment running on AWS cloud, or could be running on any other cloud, right? When this is deployed on pre-prod environment, there needs to be load test and function test needs to be conducted, and this is going to happen on dev, QA, staging, and finally production environment. Okay, now this is also called as continuous deployment pipeline, this whole pipeline, right? Also, you must have heard about the word continuous integration. So continuous integration is a process from push code to store artifact. That is continuous integration process. So there is no delivery involved. It's just at the code level. That's continuous integration. Continuous delivery is deploy the code till staging environment, pre-prod, not production. Continuous delivery means just make the software ready to be deployed for production, but it is not deployed automatically to production environment. I mean, not in the same cycle. Okay, it is tested, it is delivered to different environment, everything is tested, and it is ready to be pushed to production. That is continuous delivery. Continuous deployment is without any approval, or basically it's pre-approved. Okay, it gets deployed to the production also. So whenever developer makes a code change, all these things happens, and the changes goes to the production environment. That is continuous deployment. More about this CI/CD we'll talk about in the class. Okay, but this is for an explanation for you what really is DevOps. This, what you see right now on your screen, is your bread and butter. Okay, your destination, your goal is to set up a DevOps lifecycle, and for that you use Jenkins, you use Ansible, AWS, Azure, Kubernetes, Docker, Ansible, blah blah blah. Many tools, technologies you use, integrate things together so you can achieve DevOps lifecycle. Okay. All right, but that was the objective of DevOps and definition of DevOps. If you want to know, I like this definition. I think this I got from DZone. I need to put the source link over here. So DevOps is the philosophy of unifying development and operations team at culture, practice, and tools level. So DevOps is not a tool. DevOps is not a technology. DevOps is not just a process. It's a philosophy. Right? This is the big picture. Okay, you're going to unify development and operations team at culture, which is the communication and collaboration, guys, right? And integration. So culture, practice, and tools level. This is the best definition of DevOps that I like, and I'm stick to this definition from a long time. You will see people defining DevOps from their own perspective. But I say don't go in definitions, understand the objective. The objective is code to cache. I used to say previously code to prod, but now I heard this code to cache at one place, and I like that, code to cache. Okay, so automate everything from code to cache. That's your objective. What are the skill sets that are required for this? Okay, I need to edit this one. I removed this. Wait a second. Communication and collaboration. Okay, if you are someone who wants to work like in your own silos, don't want to communicate and collaborate, then DevOps is going to be a problem for you. Or maybe you can work in DevOps but not at that level. Okay, what are the skill sets are required for DevOps? Well, primarily communication and collaboration. You should be able to communicate within different teams, across teams, and understand the requirement and deliver the solution. Collaboratively, you need to work together. That's a primary skill. Systems knowledge, operating system knowledge, like you should be good in Linux, or if you're working on Windows, you should be very good in Windows administration. Infrastructure knowledge, you should be understanding what is network, port, protocol, storage, cluster. Okay, broad infrastructure knowledge should be there in a DevOps candidate. Cloud computing skills, okay, that is considered as default. If you are DevOps, it will be assumed by default that you know cloud computing, so you should be expert in one of the cloud. Okay, DevOps SDLC. Okay, this you will master more if you work with the developer. If you're already a developer, then you know what I'm saying. Okay, but the SDLC that I've explained you, right, you need to have the knowledge on that, because you're going to work with the developers together, so you need to have that knowledge. Build and release automation, basically that is continuous integration. Okay, You should be able to set up, deliver contains integration, automation of operating system task, any command, any task getting executed at the OS level, you should be able to automate that, right? And orchestration, mainly integrating everything together. You will have multiple small scripts, or small or big, whatever scripts you have, scripts or automation framework or tools. You should be able to integrate all of them together and have an orchestration of continuous delivery process. Orchestration is basically on top of automation, you can think like that. Okay, it's orchestration order is important. Okay, so if someone says the job of DevOps is automation, I will say yeah, but that's not just it. If someone says the job of DevOps is orchestration, I will say yes, bingo, that's right. That's your job, orchestrating. You should have network and security knowledge, because you're going to use cloud computing, containers, Kubernetes. So, without network and security knowledge, you will be really, literally blind. Containerization, okay, Docker, Kubernetes, OpenShift, okay, these are the terminologies. In today's time, by default, you should know containers. A DevOps who does not know containers really is not that good, but yes, you need to know containers. All right, so that was about the DevOps. Now I'm going to quickly talk about the course coverage, what we're going to cover in the course. The main demo is done. I'm just going to talk about now what I'm going to cover in the course quickly in 5-10 minutes, and then I'm going to take your questions. Okay, and I can come back and forth in the slides if you have questions, so do not worry if you missed anything, right? We can come back. So as I said, our focus is going to be on real-time implementation. So we need a project for that, and we have developed a project called vProfile. It's written in Java. There are many services in this project to give you more real-time challenges. Okay, so we're going to, based on that project, we're going to learn all the use cases. Like when you get into a project and you have to implement DevOps, what all decisions you need to make, what all tools you need to do, right? So in the same fashion, we're going to learn this course. Okay, so this project consists of multiple services. You have Nginx, Tomcat, RabbitMQ, Memcache, MySQL, MongoDB, Elasticsearch, right? So in the course, you're going to learn how to set up the project manually and then automate the setup on your local machine, then migrate it to the AWS cloud, and then you're going to set up CI/CD for this one. You are going to containerize this project, run it on Kubernetes platform. So all those DevOps activity you're going to do is going to be based on this project. Okay, and we'll learn about this project in detail. Now this course is divided into multiple steps, and it starts from the very basics. Step one is basics of Linux. If you are from a development background, or if you're a non-IT person, then you need to get trained yourself on Linux skills, and you need to know how to manage the servers on Linux. And we're going to learn automation, VM automation tool called as Vagrant, okay, and basics of networking. And we're going to set up vProfile project on our laptop or a desktop local machine. So this will give you, this is ground zero, guys. Okay, this is you can say eligibility of getting into the other concepts, right? So this is the eligibility week. 7 days, 7 to 10 days, we'll be doing this one. And once you're done with this, deploy the project, vProfile project, then you're going to learn AWS cloud computing, where you're going to migrate that project to AWS cloud. But before that, you're going to understand different services of AWS: IAM, EC2, S3, CloudWatch, RDS, auto scaling, Route 53, ACM, and of course, you're going to migrate your vProfile project to AWS cloud. Now, this is AWS part 1. We have AWS part 2 later. Okay, now these services are not just the way you learn in any course or certification. This is again based on the use cases. Okay, I'll show you that this is the task, guys, and how can we achieve this task by using this service, and this is the method. Okay, and I'm going to give you assignments also. Right, before we get into project deployment, you're going to have assignments. You're going to do it yourself, so you'll not feel the heat of the project then. Okay, because project will have lots of steps to execute. Right, many tools, services will be integrated together. But before that, I'm going to train you on the services that we're going to use and give you some assignments for yourself to conduct, and then we'll do the project deployment. Okay, project deployment will not just consist the services, but the other more services also. Okay, like Amazon MQ, Memcache, some services, cloud managed services also we're going to use, SNS and stuff. Okay, Then step 3 is going to be CI/CD, continuous integration, continuous delivery. You're going to learn a version control system, Git, GitHub, build tool, Maven. Continuous integration process we're going to do through Jenkins tool. So you're going to learn Jenkins, how it works as a build server, or we're going to see different jobs and test and deploy jobs. We're going to see master and slave. And while we are learning Jenkins, we are going to learn many other tools also, Sonatype, Nexus, SonarQube, Maven, and stuff. You're going to do continuous integration pipeline in Jenkins, Jenkins administration. Again, obviously, it's for the vProfile project. You're going to create a CI/CD pipeline so you can deliver the code more quickly and efficiently. Okay. After this, you're going to learn scripting. So if you are from an ops background and if you are scared to get into DevOps because you don't know scripting, so don't worry. We're going to have scripting session, first bash scripting. We're going to take basics of bash scripting. We're going to see variables, conditions, loops, stuff, and then we're going to see how to automate day-to-day admin tasks by using bash script. Okay, Python scripting we will be using. You're going to learn basics of Python programming, variables, data types, conditions, loops, functions, modules, and you're going to see Python, how we can use to automate OS task and also cloud task or any task for that matter. So this is the place where you are going to get proficient in writing code programs for automation. Okay, the purpose of learning scripting here, so you understand how to do automation with the scripts. But in today's time, we don't do much automation with the scripts. We do it with tools. But to learn the tools or master the tools like Ansible, Terraform, CloudFormation, right? These tools and technologies you want to learn, then you need to have some programming background. And for that purpose, we are learning scripting here. This is totally optional. If you want to skip, you can skip this in the course, provided you already know programming. But if you don't know, then join this. Then comes Ansible, obviously, because you learn scripting. Now you're going to implement that knowledge into Ansible, and we're going to learn Ansible a lot. Jenkins and Ansible are the two most famous tool in DevOps. And of course, the others are there, but not as much as famous as Ansible and Jenkins. So these two tools we're going to spend a lot of time. So Ansible, you're going to learn a lot of modules. You're going to learn what is YAML. You're going to write playbooks, which are basically scripts in Ansible. Many things. We're going to have variables deep dive, roles. We are going to see how we can use Ansible for automating AWS tasks also. Not only system automation, but cloud automation also. And obviously vProfile project deployment with Ansible. Okay, and there's going to be many playbooks. You're going to have assignments. I'm going to give you so many sample playbooks to read also, reverse engineering. Right? Then comes AWS part 2, where we're going to get into VPC in depth, and we'll see log management and custom metrics. We're going to learn AWS CLI, S3 CLI, Beanstack and RDS together, how we can now we already deployed vProfile project on AWS cloud. Now this is once again, but it's going to be a little different. Okay, it's going to be used PaaS and SaaS services. And we're going to do CI/CD on AWS by using AWS services, code commit, code build, code pipeline. Okay, previously I've shown you how to do it through Jenkins, and then we also have Jenkins and Ansible together. Then we will also have how to do it on AWS cloud. Okay, by using AWS services. We're going to talk about some Route 53 routing policies also, different deployment strategies like blue-green deployment, A/B testing, what are they, how to do it on AWS. Right? Yeah, that's the CI/CD project. So I'm going to give you the slides, okay, so you can take your time and read it at your own time. Then comes the containers, Docker. We're going to understand what are containers. We're going to see different concepts in Docker. We'll see how to build images. Okay, Docker Compose, we are going to learn to set up our vProfile project. Kubernetes, we're going to see how to set up Kubernetes for production environment, Kubernetes different objects like pods, services, controller deployments, and many more. And of course, the vProfile project deployed on Kubernetes cluster. Okay, and of course, the CI/CD for the containers. Right, that's very hot now. All right, if you can do that, it's awesome. CI/CD for containers, but it will not be so difficult for you because you already did CI/CD before this 3-4 times. Okay, 4 times actually, and this is going to be the 5th time you're going to do the CI/CD, but this time it's going to be for containers. right? So the images are for the project actually, guys. As I said, I'm going to send you the slide so you can look at the architectural diagram at your own time. And then I'm going to give you Terraform videos, Terraform tutorials. So this is not going to be part of ongoing classes, but you after the course, you're going to get videos of Terraform and AWS securities videos and CloudFormation videos, because not everything can be covered in this span of time. So but I want you to learn more things, so I'm going to pass you Terraform, CloudFormation, and now I'm also going to give you one new thing, okay, which is optional: more Kubernetes videos. Okay, and that's optional for me now. Okay, I'm already creating them. So I want you to learn more Kubernetes, but since it's a DevOps course, not a Kubernetes course, we don't have enough time. It will be out of scope, but I will give you Kubernetes videos that I have created, or I'm going to create for the class, which will be uploaded in your portal. So you'll have basically a portal where all the recorded sessions will be saved, and the same portal you will have Terraform videos, securities videos, CloudFormation videos, and also more Kubernetes videos. Okay, so this is enough on your plate actually, guys. So I'm concluding now, guys. I'm going to talk about the course USP, why my course sell. Okay, unique selling point. So I show the real-time implementation. That's one thing I already clarified. That I'm going to show you how to implement your skills for the project, not just hello world program. Okay, that's really stupid. I've seen that so many training. Most of the trainings are like that, right? You write a script, it says hello world, oh, you're done. Okay, that's really stupid. As long as you don't know how to implement this in the project, it's really waste. uh, I'm going to give you a lot of assignments. Most of the people will do the assignments, some people will not do. It's optional, your choice. We're going to collaborate from Google Classroom together, where you're going to get documents and everything. So you'll have a portal where you'll have the videos, and Google Classroom where you will have documents post. You can post your own questions there. There'll be assignments there, and lots of material. You should really have the zeal of learning, guys, here. Okay, all right. So that was the course USP, and that is the end of the course. I know it's slide, but it is not going to be like this in the course, guys. This is going to be very hands-on course. I want you to be up on your toes all the time. Okay, so if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I can run back to the slides also if you have any question on the course content and anything. This is going to roughly take 2 to 2.5 months. Okay, and the timing will
Hi,
be 8. No, sorry, Malti will confirm the timing. Okay. Yeah, shoot
hi,
questions.
hi, Imran.
Hey.
Hi, this is Jitendra.
Yeah, Jitin.
See, I just mentioned that the course duration is around 2 to 2.5 months.
Right.
So I do have two questions: that why the course duration is too long, and on which modules basically out of the all the modules you have explained. So particularly on which module you are gonna spend more time. Actually, I was more concerned about the CI/CD approach, because generally what we have seen that developers do build the code and deploy, and the problems you have mentioned about the uh, production server are very normal. It generally happens. So is the CI/CD approach is means completely gonna remove this problem that generally occurs between developer environment and production environment? So these are basically my questions.
Okay. That was quite a long question, by the way. So first, your question was why the duration is so long, right?
Right.
It's not long, man. It's really short. Okay. We are covering many things. It's not possible to wrap up it in short time. Okay, trust me, I am doing you a great favor of trying to wrap up it in 2 and 2.5 months. Okay, because I used to take 3 months to complete this, because it's really many things. First is the prerequisites. When you talk about CI/CD, the other question was CI/CD, right? So we have almost five. Wait, let's count it. So this is one CI/CD you're going to have, and then with Ansible and Jenkins together, you're going to have one CI/CD. That's second. In cloud, you're going to have third CI/CD pipeline, and in Kubernetes, you're going to have fourth CI/CD pipeline. Wait, there was five. Yeah, also here once you have two CI/CD pipeline actually. Okay, so total five CI/CD pipeline you are going to have in this course. So that's many CI/CD pipeline with different tools and technologies. Okay, which one are you going to use is going to be based on the requirement of your project. But I'm going to equip you with various skills of CI/CD pipeline with various tools. Right? That was your second question. What was your third question? It's a too long
Yeah,
question.
on which particularly model you're going to focus more?
Yeah, I'm going
That
to
was.
spend more time. So see, this it is not like that, which more or less. It's about the use cases. Like for example, Jenkins is the most famous CI/CD tool. So Jenkins, we're going to spend enough time. But with Jenkins, we are going to integrate with many tools, many other tools, like for example, Git, Maven, SonarQube. So this is I'm going to show you integration. But Jenkins is going to spend long time. Then we have scripting. We have Bash and Python scripting both. So this will also take long time both together. Ansible, it's going to take a very long time. Okay, and then of course AWS, and then Docker, Kubernetes. So see, seriously, there is no weightage I can give you, which is I'm going to cover more or less. I think every tool technology has equal importance, but if you want to really categorize the top tools or services that we're going to learn, my maximum time will be on AWS, Jenkins, Ansible, containers, right? Yeah,
All right.
and
All
all the
right.
other things that you see will be secondary for integration purpose.
Okay. I have a last question that what technical skills are essential prior doing this course? As you mentioned about Linux and all, so I was just willing to know more about it.
So this, no, I'm not telling you this is the prerequisite. I'm telling you I'm going to train you on this.
All right.
Okay, so you don't need to come with a skill already. Basic computer knowledge is enough. This is a beginners to advanced course, so I do not expect people to have scripting knowledge or Linux knowledge, right? But DevOps projects course will need you to have knowledge of certain skills, but this is from beginner to advanced. So you can be a totally naive, worked sometime in IT industry or never worked also, that is also fine. But people who are, mute yourself, who is making that noise? Hemant, is it Hemant? Yeah, I muted you. Okay. Yeah, I was saying, so people who are totally naive and new to the IT industry, for these people, first 15 days will be very crucial. I repeat, people who are new to IT industry, first 15 days will be very crucial, where we are going to learn Linux, basic networking, background virtualization, right? And also people who are coming from a non-scripting, non-programming background, scripting will be very important. So these basics, these are, you can say, eligibility scripting, and what will we cover in step one, these are eligibility which I'm already covering in the course. But if you are a total newcomer, you don't know what is this area, then this is very crucial for you. If you do not know this, or if you do not perform in the class on this, then other things will be very it will be a big burden for you. Will be overwhelmed with AWS, you'll be overwhelmed with the Ansible, with Docker and Kubernetes. Okay,
Okay. Thank you.
I just explained the prerequisites of DevOps. Muhammad Sumer, do you have more question on that, or is it is an old question? I don't know.
I'm done. Thank you.
No, I was talking to somebody else. Anyways, so basically, I am from non-IT background. Prerequisite of learning DevOps. Yeah, I think I already answered that question. What are the basic requirement that I have to learn before attending the training? You don't need to learn anything. Just come with a heart, really, which doesn't fail. Okay, strong heart. Seriously, you have law. You need to schedule a lot of time to practice, and a lot of things you have to learn. Okay, assignments and all. So it's better if you do not come with any preconceived notion. It will be easier actually, right? And just follow along, complete the assignment, do not quit in first 15 days, and then you will be good. Hello, sir. I'm Shrujan. I'm from EC department, recently graduated. I'm unaware of. Can we survive in this? Okay. All right. What do you mean by survive? Is there a flood? Just kidding. See, don't think always about surviving. Think about excelling in something. Right? You should have some skills where you excel. So you don't need to struggle and survive. Right? More philosophical lecture I'm going to give you later. But if you're asking if you need a prerequisites, no. Okay, as I said again, this is a beginner to advanced course. So if you do not know anything, first 15 days is going to be very crucial for you. That's all. Offline classroom training, can't give you any guarantee now, man, because we started, then again lockdown came, then we start, then we're actually trying to start a classroom, but let's see how it goes. We need to have numbers. Okay, good numbers. But it is not going to be the online classroom as this one. It's going to be full day training where I train them for an hour or so, and then they will be practicing a whole day. It will be people who don't have any job, or they're idle, uh, or freshers or newcomers. So you can contact Malti and tell them I would like to join such batch. So we can bring you for demo or something. Okay, this demo is for online class only. Okay, anything offline, contact Malti, contact Visualpath office. They will be guiding you.
Yeah, hi Imran. This is
Hey guys,
Vishwajit.
can you please post your question in the public chat? Pramila, please post your question on the public chat so other people can also see the question.
Hi Imran. This is Vishwajit.
Vishwajit, what Vishwajit? Nagpur? No, okay, sorry, I was
Just
thinking it's my
Vishwajit.
friend. Yeah,
Yeah.
Viswajit. Okay, yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, Imran. I have one question. One basic question. As you mentioned, most of your training will be hovering around this AWS as part of the cloud. So,
Right.
are you not targeting any other cloud platforms other than AWS? Because we are seeing
Huh.
some good
There is
market.
a very good reason for that. One thing is that, and there's also again similar question to you. Pramila has given the question. So let me tell you about this, guys. So AWS is being the market leader. So there are a few reasons why I'm taking AWS and not Azure. One is AWS is the market leader. Doesn't matter how much hype you have for Azure, but if you just Google about the statistics, go to a trusted, probably go check Magic Quadrant, cloud computing Magic Quadrant. That will give you statistics which is on the top. So AWS is on the top, and Azure is behind. Almost less than half of it. That's one reason we are taking AWS. The second reason is Azure is mostly Microsoft product driven, and it's very close to the developers. It's a developers, I would say. Basically, there is no competition between AWS and Azure. Azure is more closely to the Microsoft developers. Okay, and it's very easy for the Microsoft developers to use Azure. Whereas if you start your cloud journey from Azure, it will be difficult for you to learn other tools, other technologies. AWS is vast in features, and there are many things that you need to tweak and change and features. So as we say, right, Microsoft is very user friendly. So, but here we need to get under the hood and learn many things. Okay, this will prepare you. AWS will prepare you more tough. It's going to be a little tougher to learn. It's going to prepare you better for your DevOps or cloud computing journey. Once you know AWS, Azure is very easy to learn. One thing I can tell you that, or even Google Cloud, right? So that's the reason I'm taking AWS. Yes, many people told me to take it based on Azure, but it's really not the way that we can do it with Azure. Okay. The Pramila question is, what is the difference between AWS DevOps and Azure DevOps? So here's your answer. Basically, DevOps means the one that I explained you guys, right? Lifecycle, DevOps lifecycle. Now, in DevOps lifecycle, there are many tools and technologies that you can use: Git, Jenkins, Docker, blah 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 blah, and cloud computing. So before cloud computing provider were so amazing, we used to use tools all the time. Today also we use tools to complete the CI/CD pipeline or set up the DevOps lifecycle. But now cloud providers are providing you all the tools through a service. Like to store the code, you don't need to use GitHub or Bitbucket. You can use Azure or AWS also. Instead of using Jenkins, you can use cloud provided tools to run CI/CD. Okay, and automation also, automation scripts and all, their automation tool from their own cloud provider. So if you are achieving all this DevOps life cycle by using complete Azure services, that will be Azure DevOps. If you're achieving all this by using AWS services, that will be AWS DevOps. But then you are vendor locked in. If you are learning DevOps from a cloud provider, then you know it only from cloud provider. Okay, you should know it from a very basics, right? Commands, Linux, CLI, scripting, automation tool like Ansible, Terraform, and stuff, right? Because cloud will make your life easy, and easy will not train you for tougher things, right? Once you learn how to do CI/CD pipeline, we are going to do AWS CI/CD pipeline by using all the AWS services, and you will see how easy will be it for you to understand how AWS does CI/CD. That will be AWS DevOps. Okay, that was a long answer, but it is worth, because this question I'm getting many times. Clear?
Yeah.
Yes.
Hello, sir.
Yeah,
I
hello.
have posted my question. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm going through that. I'm
Actually, I'm
scrolling actually.
yeah.
I see question Azure DevOps. For CI/CD, what scripting we are using in this course? Okay, so this is the whole, I told you already about this, Chaitanya. 5 CI/CD project we are using. Some places we are using scripting like Ansible. Basically not a scripting, it's configuration management. And other places we are going to use Jenkins and cloud providers. Okay, I'll send you the slide, you can go through this. For online, what are the timings? It's going to be 8:15 a.m. IST. That's going to be the timing. I'm just curious to know the difference between, okay, I already explained that, which is would be easy for a non-IT person. Nothing, there is no such thing. Okay, for non-IT person, if you are, then both are nightmare for you. Okay, if you're a non-IT person, then you should learn from a very scratch, command lines, Linux, scripting, and then you progress to the cloud. If you directly jump to the cloud, there'll be many concepts and jargons they'll be using, throwing at you, which you will have no clue about it. Okay, version control system, tagging, artifacts, branching, right? Platform as a service, SaaS, right? Queuing, caching, many concepts and jargons you will hear where it will knock you out. Okay, so throw you out of your track. So for a non-IT, do not directly jump to the cloud. My honest suggestion. So you are giving one project vProfile. No, I'm not giving you any project for that matter. Okay, I'm training you on how to work in a project by using vProfile as a sample. Okay, projects are implementation are different. Okay, like AWS CI/CD project, Jenkins CI/CD project, Ansible. Okay, those are, you're going to get the link of the videos and YouTube channel and everything. Just subscribe to those things. Okay, you're going to get an email with that. Currently we're working in Wipro as a network admin, now done course on AWS cloud. Will this DevOps helps in Excel in my domain, as this complete different domain? It is complete different domain, of course, Hemant, but from network admin you have learned cloud, AWS cloud. You need to be sure what you want to do in your career first of all, guys. Hemant, if you're network admin, if you want to be network, be in network, if you love networks, then there's AWS cloud computing course you do, associate certification, and then you can focus on architecting, and there's a AWS networking certification. You can be doing that, but there's a small job market for that, not a huge job market. If you want to be in DevOps, then you're going to be a really great added advantage for DevOps on the cloud, because network guys knows amazing things about protocols, port numbers, and networking. And I'm going to train you on those things also, other people, but you will have an added advantage for if you do DevOps on the cloud. Okay, it will definitely excel. But if you're thinking that I do cloud certification and I want a job in that, it's not possible, guys. Very less places are there like that that will give you job only for managing that particular cloud. If that is the case, you need to be a cloud architect and you need to know multiple cloud. Okay, otherwise you could be a DevOps with cloud skills, you could be a developer with cloud skills, you could be a tester with cloud skills, like that. Okay, but purely making career out of your cloud computing will be very difficult. Okay, it is not impossible, but not many job openings purely cloud managing. Okay, because cloud is self-managed now, most of the things. I am being mechanical, passed my graduation 2014, I have 7 years of gap because of preparing for competitive exam. Is it able to do this course? Any problem while job landing or placement due to the gap? You should be able to explain about your gap, and really I can't help you with that. Okay, if you can explain them the gap, then it's fine. But yes, you will have tough time. I don't want to lie to you. You will have tough time. But I have trained many people on DevOps who were having gap, and they're working as DevOps. It was tougher for them. It took them time to land into the job, but once they landed in the job, they did wonders. So it is tough, but definitely not impossible. I have seen many people doing this. Many, not just like few, 10, 50. Many people have seen doing this. Okay, so do not lose hope. And basically, Sandeep Patil, current scenarios past 6 months, I'm getting many students and asking the same question, that they're preparing for competitive exam, but now they quit. uh, Even my friend, uh, he was also saying the same thing. Okay, and wanted to make the career in IT then. Okay, so you are not the only person. There are many people like you. Okay, I don't know if that's helpful for you, but yes, with the gap also we can get a job. It's going to be a little tougher. I currently am working as a civil engineer, and all this are very new to me. Is 2.5 months able to excel in DevOps? Certainly not, if you do not practice. Okay, it's going to be tougher for you. People from civil, mechanical, or chef, or mining, or DJ. I got many students, man, with different background. Okay, it's tough for them, but they did it, and this is on you, not on me. I try my level best to train you best, but it's going to all fall down on your shoulders to practice. Okay, initially you need to work like almost full day for practicing. Okay, full day. Right, see, I don't want to lie to you people. This is not easy. I told you one point, DevOps is one of the, people are ready to pay more salary. Do you think they'll pay the salary for people who just learned the course and just know some skill? Right, you need to be great. Okay, awesome. You think it's so easy to do DevOps? There are many people, we have like 50, 60 people in the demo, but by the time the course completes, we'll have 15, like that, people, 10 to 15 people. Now at least 15, 20, sometimes 15. Not all the people survive till the end, because there's a lot of practice, and the people will think, hey, it's not for me, and they'll simply quit. But the people who do not quit, doesn't matter from what background they have come, they are doing very well. Okay, so it all falls down to you. My training is same for everybody. Okay, but I'm here to answer all your question. If you have any doubt, any problem, you're not able to understand, I can repeat things, I can give you proper assignment, proper guidance, but again, it's all up to you. Okay, but I have trained many people from different backgrounds, so I have experience on that. How do I practice after online training? I'm in practical sessions for this training. Whether you have to come to no, you don't need to come to institute. In the first week itself, I'm going to train you to set up your own labs, and the second week you're going to learn cloud computing. So you'll have your own, you can launch your setup whenever you want, wherever you want. You just need a laptop and an internet connection. Okay, and you can start practicing. Okay, so that will be cleared in the first week itself. Don't worry, Harish. Okay, sir, yes, yes, yes. What is yes, yes? Or maybe I asked some question that time. Imran, would we get certificate after training and project? Any assistance in job placement? What certificate are you talking about? Certificates from the institute?
Uh, yes, Imran,
That's
this
of
is
no
nothing.
use, man. What is the use of that certificate? Yeah, there are
So
many
how
people
would
who will,
you?
who will tell you that I'll give you certificate after the training, but really, who cares about that certificate, man? Certifications are on the tools provided by the vendor who created the product. For example, Ansible is from Red Hat, so the certification of Ansible will be from Red Hat, right? AWS from Amazon, so Amazon will give you certification. Kubernetes, CNCF, so CNCF will give you certification, right? Who am I to give you certification on AWS? It's not my product. I don't manage the certification. Even if I give you a certificate that yes, you got trained under me, right? What water does it hold? Tell me. Okay, or anybody for that
Uh,
matter, not only from me. Okay, so look at from this perspective.
Actually, that is useful in US and Canada because
Really,
um,
I have my majority of the students from US and Canada. Okay, and I do projects from US and Canada. It is not okay. It doesn't help. If you're talking about those certification which have 6 9 months and from given from Caltech University and blah blah blah, that is very expensive, and really, man, it's not useful. Okay, take it from me, person who did lots of certification. Okay, I have bag full of certification, right? So certifications are valid. I'm sure I can give you certification. What's the big deal? Okay, I have uh, that certification and we can just print it, your name. Okay, it's no big deal, but it's not going to be of any use, trust me. Okay,
okay.
like I have to become that kind of name to give certification, right? So certifications are from providers who provide you that tool or that service. They are authorized to give you certification, simple as that.
So my past experience have been on servers and infrastructure
Yeah, good,
operation,
very good.
and I do know some GitHub and Jenkins also for
Nice.
deployment. So I mean, I was just wondering if this training would really can it be
You are on the right
customized or
path.
something? Okay,
No, you are on the right path. You already halfway, should I say 30% over there. Okay.
okay,
With this training,
okay,
you can learn other tools, technologies, and you know how to integrate them together, and you can understand their from your own experience also. Okay.
okay,
So you're already on
fine.
right path. Will you help in our resume building, and how would be the placement assistance? There is no placement assistant and stuff, but whenever we have requirement, we inform it to all our students, and you send the resume, and we just you can they can schedule the interview and all. Okay, but we don't have like a placement cell which handles all these things. Okay, resume building, I'm going to what really is resume building here. I'll give you some sample resumes. Okay, 10 15 sample resumes. Pick up whatever you want and put your details. That's resume building. Okay, see these
For example,
terminologies, resume building
if
and
you
all
are
is
doing
from
a
consult.
project, Imran, if you are doing a project,
Sorry.
I can add, if we are doing a project in this training, right? Can we add that
Uh-huh.
project like with the experience that you have on AWS or Kubernetes, Dockers?
Uh,
So we will be doing some project, right? Finally,
yeah,
or is
yeah,
it just
many.
about the? Okay, okay,
Okay, so I'll send you the list. Okay, you have the list of projects and everything over here. Okay, I can just go through them. If it fits your description of project, then yes. Okay, but if it doesn't
okay.
fit for your description of project, then no. Okay, people have different description of what project means, right? This is DevOps course, not development course. So we are not going to actually build a product. Okay, like I have people who've been asking, no, this is the existing project. We want a project from scratch. So man, this is a DevOps course. Okay, this is not a development course. I'm not going to show you how to build a project from the scratch. I'm going to show you how you are going to implement it, deploy it, do a CI/CD on that, containerize it, run it on Kubernetes, like you do, like a DevOps